Welcome back to Cheddar, everyone. Steph Curry's new Under Armour Curry 4 shoes are getting better feedback than previous iterations, maybe with a little help here of this 3-0 run so far in the NBA Finals. Will this be the sneaker to get Under Armour out of its stock slump? Joining us now is Jake Wolf, style staff writer at GQ. Jake, thanks for joining us.
You like these shoes?
Yeah, I think they're definitely an improvement on previous iterations of the style. You know, the Curry 2 sneaker was the one that Twitter kind of had a field day with, calling it, you know, a bunch of different mean things. And but the Curry 4 seems to, be sleeker, more streamlined, and more in line with a lot of the other sneakers that we're seeing out there. They have like a nice sock-like upper, and they just look more streamlined.
I'm sure,
I like it.
Yeah. Well, the debut, right? How nice of a debut coming right during the NBA Finals. We know that the Warriors are 3-0. Any initial reads on sales, how they're doing?
Actually, the Curry 4 I don't think is available for sale yet, but I think that going forward, obviously it helps if your team is winning, of course, and to be on one of the best players in the NBA. Actually, I think it was a few weeks ago that Under Armour actually came out and said that they were disappointed with sales of the Curry 3. Just given how their stock price has been for a while now, I think that this is definitely a step improvement, a step in the right direction in terms of design, and you'd have to imagine that's going to pan out in terms of sales.
I think this is the best one he's had, but it's not iconic. He should have an iconic shoe.
You mean a flashier shoe? Is that what you mean? What do you mean iconic?
I mean, that's or just like different. I don't know. I think it's good, but he's the player of a generation or one of them, right? He should have an iconic shoe.
I completely agree. I think in general what we're seeing, and this is not just an Under Armour thing, it's a Nike thing, it's an Adidas thing, is just that it seems that the athlete shoe thing is not having the impact that it once did. So, obviously the biggest one being Michael Jordan, he was an icon and his shoes were iconic, they were amazing, and then him being so amazing drove sales. Whereas now we're seeing more lifestyle musicians, artists, those kinds of people driving sales, and athletes maybe being less influential than they were 20 years ago.
What will these retail for?
I'm not sure. I mean, you'd have to imagine with a shoe that looks to have a lot of technology in it. Under Armour shoes usually are not as expensive as Nikes, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were $180, $200, something like that.
You're gonna have to wait till September to get them, but speaking of the technology, what is the technology in these?
Well,
make you jump higher, run faster?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure specifically what, Under Armour is like what their proprietary technologies in this specific shoe are, but like I said, it has a nice sock-like upper, which is a big trend in sneakers right now, rather than having, these like structured leather uppers, which are a little bulkier and don't allow for as much movement, especially for a player as nimble as Steph Curry. That kind of soft upper lets you have a lot more flexibility.
Who has the best shoe in the NBA right now?
It's the best shoe in the NBA right now. I mean, it's really hard to argue against LeBron. Nike basically, whenever they make a LeBron shoe, they basically put all their technology in, from Flywire to Flyknit, and they just really throw everything that they have at LeBron James' sneakers. They look best on the basketball court, but yeah.
Hold on, Jake. We got the opening bell here down before the stock exchange that we're gonna take here. Eventually full, but 9:30, almost open for trade.
Yeah, looking for a pretty flat open across the board here today on Friday. There you have Royalty Trust Manager Ron Hooper. Sorry, I had my music going. And D10, a national athletic tour for athletes in the business world, ringing it at the NASDAQ. Okay.
And we're off. All right, Jake. Now, you're a style writer for GQ?
Yep.
Okay, so on a scale of 1 to 10, where do these fall in the style guide? Peter wants a more iconic shoe, but based on the style know-how that you have, what would you give it a rating of?
That's kind of hard to give like a specific score to a shoe because there's so many different factors, and my personal opinion, it's hard to give a number, but I will say that they're not the best shoes in the NBA right now. But you have to look at it relative versus Under Armour. I think when I wrote about these the other day, I basically said that finally Steph Curry has a shoe that alongside James Harden and Kevin Durant and LeBron James, he has a shoe that's at least now in the same league as the people he actually is in the same league with, and that's a good thing for him.
Are you buying them?
Will I be buying them?
You a basketball player?
I do play basketball. I would have to test them first. I would just want to wear them, and I don't know.
Sounds like no. Lukewarm endorsement. All right, thanks, Jake Wolf, style staff writer at GQ.
Thanks, guys.
I like his all-black outfit today. Coming up, we're going back to the Hamptons. We'll chat with Chedd's CEO for Cheddar's Summer Fridays.